Wait, where are we going?
Cerulean Coast.
Whoa.
Where we were yesterday, the southmost part of the DLC map.
I'll believe you.
We're gonna go in the hole.
We're gonna go over to the demi-humans.
Ooh,
We
yes,
can't go in the hole. It's
that's
broken.
a little nook that I missed for a while.
Yeah.
Like I just passed over it and yeah, I had to like go back later. I was like, hold on. I was like, what am I missing? I feel like there wasn't a lot of stuff here. So
If I'm thinking right, this is the demi-human boss fight that I killed with one spell.
Very possible.
very possible. Yeah, it's like a much easier part of the game.
I classed
And for me especially, 'cause I went
X
back really late.
Dragon Breath, and it just multi-hit it so much that it just died.
Like I think I took him on at like Shadow Tree Blessing 15. or
Yeah.
something. So I was like, oh, okay.
I definitely feel like I'm getting pretty far. On top of finding Mesmer and turning back, I also have now I found the place that has 1 billion Shadow Tree fragments. Just a giant pile.
Yeah, the top left or whatever.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and I got to the Shadow Tree itself, and then I also went off and to the west side, got to the ruin that's pointing at the first dungeon. And I'm like, I'm gonna not touch this yet. This feels like it does something. So I'm pretty sure it opens up. I'm pretty sure it opens up the ending of the first dungeon that you couldn't do originally or something.
Keith, do you care about like boss names that you haven't heard yet? I don't know if those count as like spoilery things to you. To me, they don't, because they, unless it's like
It's
an
mostly
NPC's
noise.
Name,
Zanzibar,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, because even if I haven't got there
fuck
yet,
is with
I was gonna say I really enjoyed the Shadow Tree Avatar. I know Andrew expressed some frustration, like being tired with that fight a bit, but
I love the Shadow Tree Avatar fight.
I loved it. I really liked it.
This poor
Yeah.
monkey man.
I usually get a little impatient sometimes with
AI
that
broke.
sort of gimmick in a fight, but something about its particular moveset made me a lot more patient with it because it never felt too unreasonable.
Yeah.
I don't know. Always like every time I died in that fight, I was like,
Ow.
I just did the thing wrong. Like it felt very learnable. So.
Yeah. It reminded me of Manus.
I couldn't figure out how to dodge its 7 million projectiles attack.
That was a
run.
really tricky one. You can run sometimes if like the angle isn't right. You kind of have to like roll twice at the right time. That was how I did it. It was like,
which
but it was,
move
that was
is
easier
that?
said than done though.
When he
The one where
shoots like a
there's-
bunch of star beams outside and then just
Like
starts
3
hailing
entire
at you.
waves of projectiles that get
Yeah.
longer and longer and longer, but they're slow-moving projectiles that are spaced out enough that
Oh.
you can't like dodge them like a normal
Yeah,
wave of attack.
Yeah, I remember.
It can be a
The
little
running
tricky.
doesn't seem to
but-
quite work, and I'm just like, I don't get it.
That's all
is that
I
gonna
did
blow
was
up?
I unlocked my camera and then just ran sideways.
I increasingly
Yeah.
just had to tank it because I just could never successfully dodge it consistently. Something was always wrong.
Yeah, I ran into issues where like sometimes running sideways and dodging worked for me. Sometimes it didn't though. I found a timing to roll a couple times. But
Yeah, I just got kind of annoyed and impatient with it. I wasn't
That's fair.
loving it.
That was the hardest. That was definitely the hardest move to dodge, and that was the one where I was a
Yeah.
little being like.
Oh.
I remember Josh walked in, and I was kind of like, "Oh, fuck this one move." Like,
Yeah.
but aside from
lightning
that, though, I
just
did really
Instant
like it,
killed me.
I just blocked them all with a high holy resist shield.
Hell, that's one way to do it. Hell yeah, I appreciate that.
For me, the fight wasn't.
Whoa.
God, where am I now?
Why is this
fight wasn't
demi-human
like-
healing?
It wasn't like shitty plant monster bad, but it was still like I wasn't loving it.
Why do they keep
This
healing
is
from my
explode.
attacks? My
I love
attacks aren't
absolutely
doing
massive
damage.
Attacks. I don't love attacks where like an entire area gets highlighted as a place that will do damage, but then you have to anticipate the exact timing to dodge it. But there's no like telegraphing for the timing. You just have to memorize the timing. So I got kind of tired of like the briar patch that it kept doing.
Oh yeah, I just waited for it to like it only does that from afar, so I would just wait for it to reach me and then I would
It does
dodge.
it all the time.
Oh, weird. Yeah, for me it was only ever at range.
Well, there's the two different ones. There's
not,
the range one.
not the projectile, the one where it does briars all around the map.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
then, and then they explode a second later, but in a way where it's like, it's always the kind of thing where it's like there's not enough of a visual telegraphing of the timing of the explosion, like it's not a rhythm game. So you just have to memorize the timing every time, and I don't like those kinds of attacks.
I feel like it was just when it slammed its face into the ground, wasn't it?
No.
No.
What it does is it would slam its face in the ground and do like a combo move on you, but otherwise it would swipe it left and then right and shoot like branches all the way towards you.
Mm-hmm.
No, not the line of branches that shoot at you.
Yeah, but then it does
It would
like
cover the entire
does-
local area with a bunch of briar patches that would then explode.
My
Yeah,
attacks
I
aren't
think-
doing damage. I don't know what's up.
Specifically, not talking about the line attack, 'cause the line attack was an extremely
Yeah, that one's
dodgeable.
that
This
one's
is-
easy to
this
deal
is
with.
this is a moving thing. You don't get hit by like a train or a baseball or whatever.
Yeah.
It's Ganondorf, except you can't hit it back. You know, I didn't love it. I liked the Frenzied Flame fight. I liked the skeleton fight. I thought those were like pretty proper fights.
Yep.
The skeleton fight, like, I had frustrations. I have frustrations with all of the boss fights caused by the fact that you just get two-shot by everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just slightly too unforgiving in a really annoying way and throughout the whole expansion. But overall, the boss designs and like the actual moves were like really cool for the Frenzied Flame and for the skeleton guy, the skeleton horseman.
The putrescent knight, yeah.
I'm gonna be very, very vague in case you haven't gotten to it yet, but there's one really funny gimmick fight that I don't know how I feel about yet. But at the very least, even if I come to the conclusion that it kind of sucks, it's also funny though. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you always get
Oh.
points for me if a part of your game is just funny.
She
And
has a
I was really laughing last night at this fight.
This guy's long. Her back is so long. I was extremely
Let's try-
amused that one of the Crucible Knights has tar magic.
T-A-R or T-A-U-R?
T-A-U-R.
There you go.
T-A-U-R.
Ooh, the rare
Just
kind.
full
Oh!
on transforms into like their legs just turn into like what looked like an entire panther or something.
It's
I couldn't exactly tell what the animal was.
I believe it's a frog.
But it's just full on turns into like a four-legged body on the bottom half and starts running around. You're
Yeah.
like, hello.
Or maybe
this
it's a
is happening.
lion. It's something like that. I don't
Given
remember.
that they're centered as being like the oldest of the Crucible Knights, and the most like experienced and all that means
Yes.
that that's like the peak of being a Crucible Knight is becoming a tar. That's extremely funny.
Why is it like 1 second?
There we go.
I've been frustrated by some
Jeez.
of the stagger timings of enemies in this game.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Like I fought the centipede boss, and I'm like, I finally got her to stagger once, and I was literally like, like a couple hits from winning. So I was like, oh wow, this is it. She got up immediately. I'm like, what the? You're a fucked up, weird ribbon-shaped enemy, and I need to figure out for a second which side of you is even the front, and run around you, and like jumping over you doesn't work because you're a weird hitbox and everything's fucked. I'm like,
You're talking about
why do you get up immediately?
Ramino,
Why you just-
yeah.
It's like, why do you just get up immediately when I stagger you? That's not rewarding. Let me get it. Let me solo her.
I don't know if I had a heavier weapon, but I did a lot of guard deflects, and for me it was pretty easy to break her posture fairly often.
Yeah.
No, it took me all of my attempts to finally do it once, and then she got up so quickly I couldn't execute on it. I'm like, that sucks.
I basically chain staggered her with Kung Fu.
Yeah, I remember DMing Toaster about my experience with that fight, where like I almost beat it on my first try just because guard counters actually worked really well for breaking your posture kind of frequently. But I had the same thing that I go through where like I like to do a lot of co-op in these games. I've literally maxed out my rune arcs from co-op sessions, and like I don't want to go into that fight feeling like I didn't learn it or whatever. So I switched to trying to parry her, and I had a much harder time. It took me a long time to get comfy with it. So I went from like almost beating the fight on my first try to like, I don't know, trying like dozens of attempts
Yeah.
and beat it another way.
I've had a lot of fights where the third attempt is like a 90% clear, and then you die at the last second, and then I have to fight him for another half an hour.
Oh,
and I'm like,
that's
no,
rough. I'm
please.
pretty. It's not that
It
I'm great
breaks
at
me-
these games or anything, but
breaks
I
me down a little
sort
bit
of
when
get.
I've already basically been there, and now I have to like claw my way back, and I can't seem to do it.
I'm
All
not
right.
particularly great at these games, but I definitely have some consistency where, like, if I'm getting a boss down to pretty low health, like, I almost never run into a situation where it's going to take me a lot of tries to do as well again.
Yeah. All right, let's head for Bellerot. So let's all meet at the main gate cross.
I'm a giant baby sometimes, so you can definitely just see the moments where I'm trying to figure out how to like cheese spam the fight to death via gimmicks instead of learning it correctly because I don't like the fight enough to want to learn it. and I see if I can get away with that. That was my response to the boar fight.
Oh, is Keith breaking up for everyone, or is it just me?
Sounds fine here.
He sounds okay for me.
Oh, I think it's me. I'm gonna hang up the call and rejoin it.
Okay.
Penis.
Yeah, I've been noticing and watching your guys' playthrough. You get gold summon signs a lot more often than I do. That really makes a huge difference.
The NPCs.
Yeah, I didn't see a single one this DLC.
Wow.
Really?
Damn.
Any better?
I saw one, the centipede boss, but it was trash. I saw one in front of the
Wow.
knight, and it was not the knight, the lion, and it was trash.
What? Really?
But the one for the dragon's good.
The one for the dragon
I
is
think I
good.
used them.
Dane is really
something
good
for,
in the
like,
Ramana
every
fight.
fight.
Summoning
What the
Lita
fuck?
for the lion boss is literally useless.
Oh, yeah, that's the Souls NPC gamble. Yeah, they're a lot of. It's sometimes they're helpful, sometimes they're not. I feel like usually more often than not they're helpful, but like it's not the most generous ratio. I would be talking
Yeah.
like 1/3 of them suck still. like
The-
you know,
So-
the kung fu
or
guy
fourth.
for the millipede boss, centipede boss, he did no damage and died very quickly.
Oh,
he was not helping.
he like completely staggered her for me, which was great. The one time I
No.
tried him. This is so. One thing I want to point out here is that this is very similar, like iconography to the things that you see underground in the ancestral followers area. It's a bespoke asset that was applied to like these big like obelisks underground. So there's some connection between the Tower of Bellarot and like areas like Shifra and the Old Palace.
Love it.
So just some paired iconography.
Yeah, remember
think
Andrew
my
or someone
favorite-
before asked you about those coffin or tombstone looking things underground before, and you said
Yeah.
you were gonna mention it later. So that's,
Yeah.
that's cool.
So they're basically like iconography that's associated with like much earlier civilization than anywhere else that we've seen. And you can see like a lot of other similar imagery, like right here. These resemble things that we see in Ferrum Azula, referring to like sainthood and beings becoming trees. And you can see that the horns here on this this horn sense head look like the crucible tree, like the canopy of the tree. So it mirrors imagery that we see in Ferrum Azula.
Interesting.
These guys are
I
still
feel like
alive.
these big scorpions should have a lot more health than they do.
They're spider scorpions, and I hate
No,
them.
they
Yeah,
should have
yeah,
one
they're not
health.
s-
They should have
you know-
exactly one health.
Yeah, no, they're surprisingly easy to kill, which I'm not really complaining about. But yeah, they're very. The first time you look at them, you're like, oh god, and you're just like,
You
oh
just
wait,
assume they have more health because they are large.
Just
Yes.
fuck this room.
just one guard counter to break their posture. Like it's
Yeah.
like very very generous.
All right, the
this
spider.
room, this
fear.
room's still not as bad as the room it's calling back to in Bloodborne.
Well, I was going to point out how all these little guys on the side of the staircase are incredibly evocative.
Monumentals. They're fucking
Monumentals,
monumentals. Yeah.
Monumentals. You see
I-
them
I-
again. You
I
see
put a
them
message
again
on the ground that said
past
like
the
likely.
centipede.
Yep. I put a message on the ground saying likely old friend.
Likely old friend. Nice. Yeah. When I saw these things, my fucking brain exploded. I was like, they're
Yeah.
doing Demon Souls again.
Demon Souls.
Yay!
Yeah, it's the monumental.
That didn't heal me at all.
It looks very similar. Like it
It's not
might
working.
legitimately be.
You don't appear on my screen, so that's why.
Oh.
Mm.
Yeah, I was standing around top of you when you were doing all the heals, but I guess it don't. If I don't exist to you, then it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I legitimately think this might just be the Blue Point monumental like model is thrown into the game. Like it is so shockingly similar.
It's wild.
This place was huge.
I love Bellarot.
Yeah, this area is cool.
This
I love
is-
the aesthetic,
Yep.
the architecture and stuff like that. A lot of spirals. Sort of
After-
Middle Eastern-ish vibe in places.
Zoroastrian iconography. Yeah.
It's very cool.
The
very,
shit
very cool.
rules.
After this level, I was so confused that the Ansys was as short as it was. So I was
Yeah,
like, what? I spent
Because
like
Ensis feels so small compared to
I
this.
spent like 4 hours here. Someone, and when Ansys was in 20 minutes was serving me up a remembrance boss. I was like, what?
This is maybe my favorite FromSoft like dungeon since maybe Dark Souls 1, maybe the Astral Clock Tower in Bloodborne. I love Bellerot. I think it is one of the best levels they've ever designed.
It's a very cool space. There's a cool variety of locations. All of the cool layout stuff that they usually do. Yeah.
The
love
encounter design here is extremely good. Like I love everything about it. This is so
it
peak.
even kind of perfects what I was complaining about in a previous stream, where like I feel like things were pushed to its limits of almost being a little too far with the non-linearity in some places like Kyria Manor, where it's like, again, by the time you find Pydia and don't have a drop-down ladder to the Site of Grace, I'm kind of like, okay, this was a bit much. But this level, I feel like, has all that stuff in the right amount of doses.
Yeah.
Find a key to go back to this place when you find a key.
No,
and that
no.
sort of stuff.
I did that the first time I came here too.
God damn
Did
it.
you run down the ladder?
I
hard to see the
rolled, but I
ladder.
didn't have my light on, so I rolled a little too far and rolled through the well.
I forget. Is there anything worth grabbing down here?
No, not yet. I just remember you
Maybe
need a
we just come
key.
back later.
Yeah.
No. Stop punching Grandpa.
There we go.
And now the difficulty scaling is kind of back where I want it too.
Yeah.
Like where they're making us work for these enemies, and yeah, this is good.
This is the area where I practiced parries and deflects.
Wee.
It's a good place for that.
Doop-doop.
Bro, sit down. What do you want?
Get him. Ah.
I'm just really happy I like the Daikatanas as much as I do, because it reminds me of the Dark Souls 2 Murakumo, which is just like maybe my favorite Souls game weapon ever.
Mm.
What?
Watch out
I
for
love
the
the
magic.
the community nicknames for the Dark Souls 2 weaponry skins.
Mhm.
Murablumo.
I had like whole outfits designed around those. I had a red and a blue Murakumo outfit for Fashion Souls for PvPing. Not that anyone could really see it, but
I'll never let go of Skull for the First and never making those available.
Yeah.
I've always been very like about that.
oh,
Still the pre-order exclusive stuff.
Yeah, which they were released. They weren't pre-order exclusives, but they were released as promotional stuff leading up to the release of the DLC.
No.
Because they could update the chest in the basement of the Majula Mansion at a special online functionality where the server could tell it to carry new items.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was weird.
Yeah, so it resulted in this situation where it's like, for a limited time before this DLC comes out, get this. And then they release Scholar First with all the DLCs bundled, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
are you going to bring those reskins back? And it's like, nope, you can only have gotten them in the original version of the game. It's like, what the fuck?
Oh, right.
Oh, I don't think I went that way.
there's stuff back
There's a
here.
couple. Yeah, there's a couple items out here you can grab.
Oh, Grandpa, no.
Oh, oops.
You okay?
I fell down.
I had someone ran directly in front of me right when I was doing the jump. And I'm like,
There's an item down here, and if you backtrack and
oh, I
go back
missed this.
where you come in from, we can do the same on the opposite side.
I spent
Parallel
so long
Yeah,
going
this-
everywhere, too.
Bro, this place is so fucking big. There's like I think I spent a solid like 2 hours
It's
here.
so dense.
Just
I was
yeah.
here for ages, and there's still so many other places you can climb and do things.
Yeah, we
Yep.
can do the same thing on the
so
other side.
weird.
There's a bunch of roofs and there's a bunch of little nooks and crannies.
Not that way. I'm forgetting the way exactly, but somewhere out here.
Very much I don't know. Remind me a lot of like original Souls games.
Absolutely.
I don't know why, but like I feel which I think happens in every Souls games literally is, but like the like final half of Elden Ring felt very much like, okay, well, I guess we made it, but at what cost?
Oh,
like
no.
it didn't feel like
Everyone
a lot
respawned
of the
on Grandpa.
Oh. Didn't feel like a lot of the dungeon level design made it over by the end of it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna reconnect so I
Nope.
can see people.
Oh my God.
Why are
Okay,
you
yeah.
here?
Yeah, why is
Oh
the
God. Oh.
divine warrior
okay.
monk there?
Yeah, now
we need
we're
to-
in trouble.
We need to
Yeah,
regroup.
you guys got a lot of fucking
Okay, I'm gonna
shit.
sit at the
Can
thing
someone,
real quick.
yeah, rest at the bonfire,
I can't.
please.
There's no prompt. Oh, it's because there's too many enemies around here too. I'm dead.
Okay.
We need to regroup. We split up in too many directions at once and aggroed everything at once. All right, chat. That entire line of joking will get everyone involved banned. Last
Oh.
warning.
Sorry, I can't see it. I'm killing.
I'm trying to lure enemies away from the site of grace so I can.
I'm just now looking at these, like, weird parapet
These guys
gargoyle
look the
things.
hell out of the way.
Yeah.
These look so bizarre.
Okay, that should be good now. I'm dead, so we should be able to rest at the bonfire.
I'm working on it.
There's so many enemies. Somebody else is running back
Let's
ahead
get
of
some
me,
good-
and there's just
Yeah,
a whole
I got it, I
train
got it.
of ghosts chasing
Yeah.
them.
It should be good now.
Oh no!
I'm gonna spam rest so
Oh.
you can get to safety if you need to.
I'm
Very
gonna loot
nice.
My souls. Thank you.
Okay.
Does that remove?
Time
Yeah.
to
it does.
engage project. Everyone stay in the same room all the times.
Hold on, I gotta use an item too.
Whew.
I just had to run out
Well, I
here
thought
and
I-
grab the.
I thought we were all
Goody.
in this hallway area. I don't know how that dude showed up here.
Yeah, I have no idea how that guy showed up. I was just here, and then all of a sudden he was right in front of me. All
Very
right.
funny.
Did I already get everything over here? I think I did. The weird gargoyles in this
Oh, God,
place
there's more.
are screaming people. They look like the monumentals. It's odd. Like look at these weird
I
like
can't believe
gargoyle
they're all in
things.
the avatar state.
They're just odd.
maybe someone found them in Dark Souls and were like, "What are these fucking weird things?" and just put them on the walls.
Yeah, I don't know what that's supposed to imply. Granted, this is kind of later lore that will get discussed more in depth when we get there, but like this is an empire built on bodies, so like maybe
Wait,
it's people bodies. I don't know.
Is every Souls game is in the same world?
No, just Dark Souls
No,
1, 2,
it's-
and 3.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, and 3 are the same world.
Yes,
Yes.
Wait,
Yeah.
how is
Set apart
Elden
by-
Ring not the same world?
because it's
not.
not.
It's called Dark Souls.
Yeah, it's completely separate universe, different gods, different genesis of the
Why?
universe.
Why is Patches here?
Because Patches is a
Patches
fun
always
cameo
here.
character that always shows up. He's an armored
Yeah,
core
like-
as well.
He's
They
a,
like to
he's
use
a,
patches.
What?
They like to use white sticky stuff. They like to use some variation of the
Oh.
Moonlight Greatsword in every game.
Yep.
I
Well,
like to look
weapons
at,
and stuff is fine, but
Patches
look at
is
Pat-
a different
Kid-
character
kid
in every
from-
game,
kid
with the
from
exception of
Final
Dark
Fantasy.
Souls.
He's
You
not
know,
the,
if-
cause I don't
if a
think he's even the
reoccurring-
same person in each Dark Souls game because they're set apart by thousands of years.
He is
Yeah,
the
I don't-
same person in Dark Souls, I think,
I
because
don't know how I feel about. I don't know how
What?
I don't know
How
I
can he
still
be
don't
if
know,
I kill him in every game?
I still don't know how I feel about him being the same person in one and 3. I do agree with Toaster that I think it's supposed to be but I kind of
Oh
wish
right,
it
because he's not
wasn't,
into.
like-
They did
I
a
feel like
Yeah.
dialogues
Yeah,
and patches
Pete.
in Lautrec.
Yeah,
if it's that silly, then just make them all the same worlds. What's the punishment then? Like you already have something.
because
Like,
there's
oh,
a
I
very well, because there's
Kind of
actually
the
a very good
Patches was
reason.
explicitly split the
there's
timeline
legal
like
there's
Clara.
legal reasons.
Yeah, there's
too.
legal reasons, but also there's a very explicit reason why Patches survives through all the games, and I think it's supported by the text, which is we encounter Andre of Astora in Dark Souls 3, and he's just still alive, and the reason why he's still alive is because he's an NPC who we constantly give souls to. Souls keep you sane in this world, like just scientifically. You want to know who else is a shopkeeper who's really good at scamming people out of souls? Patches the fucking hyena. Like it's not anything crazy. So when it turns out that all these
But-
characters survive as long as they do, it's because they have a steady fucking job. They have a purpose.
Yeah,
Wait,
no,
so wait, the souls like stop your aging as well? I thought it was just mental.
No, like no one ages in the
bl-
Souls
is
games.
Is the blacksmith in Dark Souls 3 supposed to be the same one from 1?
Yes.
No one
Yeah,
ages. How do
Andre
people
Astora, yeah.
exist?
They just don't age. It's a timeless. It's like time doesn't exist
Rejuvenated by the
correctly in
souls or-
Souls. Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like it's easier to accept it that they're just unmoored from time than the idea that they just lived that long.
Yeah. But they do technically live that long because that is the story of Dark Souls 3 is the time
Did
is
the guy
running
ever
out.
invade?
He did not because I think we have too many people here. So we might
Oh, maybe.
We've had 5
What a
invasions
coward.
since the patch.
I guess you're right. Yeah. Why isn't he invading then?
Weird.
Wait, look, you can get in here.
Come
We're
on
supposed
in.
to meet him somewhere else first.
I don't
That
think
might
so.
be a thing because I think when I ran
into
into him, I think this was the second location I ran into him at.
This
maybe?
was my first. So
This is my first.
I might be misremembering.
For me, the everything about Patches is that he's very bad at getting me to spend money.
sure.
He's a terrible shopkeeper.
But he's also
Well,
very good
you're
at
not the only
scamming people
one
and
he's scamming.
killing clerics. Yeah. And that's also what makes Lap and the ending of the Ringed City so sad. Is because Patches finally kind of loses himself and changes. But in changing, becomes a different person.
What happened to Patches in in Ring City?
He's Lap. Your
Who's
buddy.
Lap? Who's Lap?
A named NPC named Lap. He wears armor. He's voiced by the same guy who voices Patches. He's like the friend companion NPC you can find in that DLC.
Huh. I can't remember him at all.
Jesus.
But yeah,
The
he's
game
just
is like
spells
8 years
fucking
old now.
yeah. But yeah, so that's up. What's up with Patches and Andre, and I think that's specifically why Patches and Andre are the two characters that are reoccurring through the Souls games that actually survive throughout basically all of the games. Oh fuck!
It's also questionable if Andre is a blacksmith deity as well.
That is true. Yep.
So
but
he
He
has
is
that
a
going for him as well.
completely unique character model that defies what humans even look like in that setting.
To be fair, though,
And even-
we do
even though
learn.
even though it's like cut content that he was supposed to be like a descendant of Gwyn originally,
Yep.
I feel like the fact that they were thinking in those kind of terms meant like he's, even if that's not literally his origin story in the end, it's like there's something special about him.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
like there's definitely something going on with him regardless.
He's a unique and important character no matter what, like thematically. I think with Andre, the thing that is important with him too, though, is that like, even if he is a deity, like one of the things that we learned from the Three Souls games is that like deities are just people. They're just people with big souls. They have a lot of souls. Like that's really all it is.
There's an item this way too, if you guys haven't done this before.
Where are you?
Sorry.
I don't see you.
Oh
yeah.
Wait, where?
Oh, I slipped.
Souls
Rooftop
lore
environment?
or
Oh.
size difference.
Yeah.
It's always a size
Oh no.
difference.
And now that we have the key, do we want to double back to visit Grandma?
Yeah, we're gonna go talk to
I think it's a good
Grandma.
idea.
And we got the
Oh,
well
I
depths
never-
key, which we needed.
Yeah, we got both keys. Yeah, hell yeah.
Why can't I spend souls to grow?
You do. What are you talking about?
Oops.
They technically aren't spending the souls, which is why they're growing.
Why can't I hoard souls to grow?
This is also true in Elden Ring. Having a lot of runes makes you physically larger.
Are we going back
Oh!
down? Nah, oh no, there's a shortcut we can unlock. We might as well
Make me
keep going to that
larger.
instead of backtracking.
I'm gonna open the door to Granny.
The attack range that everyone but me has.
And I think I'm gonna banish you all once we get here. So
Okay.
we
Rude.
Let me open this shortcut first because I was going that way. Like I'm already at it basically. So I'm gonna step on this.
okay.
That way we don't. Have to go
Oh,
through
the elevator. Yeah, I see. I know what
the
you're
elevator
saying.
in the same way. Yeah. I got it. So you can vanish. Oh yeah, let me get no. Holy shit! I forgot about the lever behind. Door leading to. There was an elevator and a door.
Yep.
Did you fuck
Okay,
it up?
now that's good.
All right. I
There we
will
go.
banish you all real quick, and then we're gonna individually talk to the Hornsent Grandam. Give you all a
I've been
moment to
banished.
teleport over and queue up.
Is it the
Where
small
was it?
private altar?
Yeah, I'll give directions from there. I'm warping there right now. Yeah, so you go through the doorway, and then you turn left, and you're gonna
Oh,
go
I
past.
one-shot people in my world. Damn.
You're gonna go past the two shadow men overlooking the thing, and there's a door on the left.
My eyes are turning red because we did a bloody finger thing, I guess, in order to unlock Moog's palace. That's funny.
Greetings, Granny.
Where is she?
She's just sitting
I followed the directions. I just don't see her in this room.
She's so you
Oh,
go
there
in.
she is.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
right there. Is everyone ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's
Yep.
talk to her.
Who art thou, stranger? By the look of thee, another of Mesmer's peons, methinks. Tell me, does thy kind never weary grow? How do these old bones fascinate thee yet? Our lands were by thy kind set aflame, our tower by thy kind veiled in shadow. Thou camest, robbing us of all, spoiling all. Have ye not basked in these deeds long enough? Listen, progeny of the wanton's trumpet. For thy sins thou shalt have thy recompense. The sacred beast shall unleash its ire. Till then, with this old hag, do what thou wilt, for all the good it'll do thee in the end. For what reason dost thou falter, villain? Enact thy sordid work with fullest pride. Else tuck away thy tail and leave for good, loathsome issue of the rotten strumpet.
All right. So if she has spoken twice, I think we're good.
Yeah, there's one third short line.
Oh, gotcha.
Be gone.
Oh, yeah.
These lands were ours since times of old.
Strumpet.
Yeah. So there's actually a lot of interesting stuff to get from this interaction, but this is also the first like actual talkable Hornsent we have met, other than the Hornsent warrior who is wearing fully like his whole body is wearing like armor. Basically, you can't really see him. So interesting thing is that she's covered in gold. And this is one of the first hints we get in the DLC directly that like Marika's Age of Gold and Age of the Erd Tree is very directly taken from this religion of the Hornsent. We know from the story trailer for the DLC that Marika's ascendance to godhood is seen by the Hornsent as a seduction and betrayal. This idea of it being sort of a romance in the historical sense of like intrigue and political drama. And so here we see sort of the basis of a lot of the Erd Tree religion, actually. And I think that the DLC is doing something really neat here, which is sort of like looking at modern religions. Like Christianity is an amalgamation of like Norse myths and Celtic myths and pagan myths and Zoroastrian myths. And, you know, like it has this history that built up into it. Like we think of Christmas as like the birth of Jesus, but in reality, it's like tied to like pagan Yule rites and things like that. All of this DLC and all of Bellerot and the Hornsent is like all hearkening back to like what the origins of Erd Tree belief were once Marika came into power. And you can even see this with this old woman who looks remarkably similar to a finger reader crone. The big difference being she's blind and she has horns coming out of her eyes. And
Which
she
is incredibly upsetting.
It is very upsetting. And what she says is the divine beast will come and punish us because she thinks we're one of Mesmer's peons because she knows we're tarnished. She can tell from us. And as a result, she calls us the progeny of the wanton strumpet. Presumably by this, she means Marika. So if we look over here, there's also a divine beast sculpted head on the altar right next to her. This is the being that she
left
was
from her.
Yeah, to the left. But what's kind of neat is you'll recognize this as also very similar to the bladed lions we saw in the base game. And the implication is that in Mesmer's conquest and in the oppression of the Hornsent after Marika's reign, they just like took their divine beasts and put them in the Colosseums and put them to work as like slave labor, which is in like sick entertainment to make a mockery of the Hornsent. So it all goes back to the main game and what we witnessed there. So that's kind of sad. But that's all we have with the Hornsent Grandom at the moment.
Yep, there's a small puzzle later, and there is a hint in the room for it.
Yep.
Yep. In my solo playthrough, she just grunted at me. She never said anything else.
Oh no.
Oh
What?
no, that's a bummer.
It's yeah, that sucks. I
I
don't
feel
know
like
too many
it's
people who.
because I didn't talk to her until after I fought the boss here, but I'm not sure.
Huh.
Huh? Yeah, I have no idea.
You've definitely had uncharacteristically bad luck with NPC interactions because like
Yes, I do.
the 1.0 version of the game just didn't have so much stuff finished. So when Keith is like, I didn't see this, it's like, yeah, like literally some of this stuff like wasn't ready at the start of the game. Don't think
That's
the DLC
also when I
had
played.
right, and I don't think the DLC fundamentally has had the same issues. I don't really think it's had to fix much with NPCs. So I think it's if something didn't work, I don't know, a bit of bad luck or like maybe there's some stuff that still needs to be fixed, but it's not as broken as the base game was.
I think there was
that definitely strikes me as very unfortunate.
one notable like quest trigger bug thing, but it was with
Maybe
getting
she was deemed
Ansbach and
unique in
Freya to
this.
move. I think maybe something like that. But yeah. All right, my world is open. We can rejoin and keep on trucking.
And we continue destroying everything in her room by rolling through it.
Oh yeah.
Bro, she came at me with racism. Yeah, of course I'm going to trash her fucking room.
She used the S word. Strumpet.
She called me. She just
Wanton
assumed because I
strumpet.
was tarnished that I was a bad guy. That's a little prejudice, if I would say.
To be fair, you are you are called by divinity to enact America's will, and there's not much you can do to spurn that. So that is,
And
I mean,
currently invading her home.
yes,
Am I invading her home?
yes,
Yeah.
How am I invading? They're attacking me on site. I didn't even do anything.
yeah.
I just showed up
You
here and
came
people
in.
attacked me.
in.
Well, there was no one at the door to say yes or no for me to come in.
Well, normally there was,
the door
but
is closed.
yeah, but your buddies broke a hole in the door and kicked in their door frame so that we
My
could walk in.
buddies, I didn't.
This is
I have
literally
never-
the logic of the Zodiac Killer. He thought if he went into someone's house and it was unlocked, that was an invitation.
Yeah.
No, wait, that wasn't Zodiac. That was Gacy.
No, it wasn't
Casey,
Zodiac.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was Casey. Yeah.
One of the other things I wanted to point out was that she mentioned that their tower was covered in shadow, and that obviously refers to Belleroth
Second
as a
chicken.
whole.
He's floating.
He's a bird, Keith. He can do that.
The weird way, though.
Did we want to go down to the poison area first and kind of do that?
Oh,
chunk of
Stinky
the level?
Swampland.
Can we do that right
We
now?
just got the key.
Oh, the
we have the
well.
key.
You're right. I
Yeah.
forgot about getting the
Yeah.
key. Yeah, let's go do that. Why not?
Okay.
All right, Stinky time.
We can get
Let's
a
go.
cool thing. I'm just gonna teleport to Belleroth Tower settlement.
Yeah.
It's like a normal level, but awful.
I think it's really interesting, like what Lita says. She'll say it when we talk to her, when we meet up with her in the DLC. But there's a mention of like the Hornsent weren't saints; they just happened to be on the losing side of a war, which I think is like a really potent piece of dialogue. Like this idea of like you can be oppressed, but also still have like I don't want to say like culpability, but like blood on your hands in like an interesting way. Because the cycle of violence in this game is like very, especially in this DLC, is like incredibly apparent in how it like.
Just assume that every single faction has done a genocide.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
I need to be banished
You need to be banished.
for all the genocide I did.
Yeah.
Is that a joke or you need to be banished?
I need to be banished.
no.
Oh, I was there.
I'm just gonna pull open my pot when we stand right in front of it, and then you'll all spawn right in front.
But at what cost?
Time.
That's all I have.
Loading.
Yeah, a
But
little
at
bit
what
longer than I
cost?
expected. Okay. Now, not to fall down and die.
There we go.
I really
Ta-da.
like the new weapon that is down here, but I am upset that it's not a kung fu weapon and instead it's just a fist.
Yeah.
Because that status effect would go so hard with a kung fu moveset, but I guess you can just make the dry leaf arts poison if you want to. All right.
Is there no poison dry leaf?
There's no. Well, you can just infuse it, but
You can't grease it, but you can infuse.
No.
yes. Yep.
This isn't the first time we've seen a Souls game explain a poisonous area with sewage.
Yeah, it's raw
That-
sewage.
That's the relation. Yeah, it's the relationship between the depths and Blighttown in Dark Souls 1.
Let's go over here first. After
But I
we
like
kill the
how it's
manflies.
conveyed in this area.
Yes. It's
Bug.
also literally like, so the manflies are, as we mentioned, like the final evolution of the horn scent. We can learn about that later when we pick up the manfly ashes, but the interesting thing about that is that like they create poison, but they're like eating death and eating rot, and like they're part of the cycle of life in this, like, I guess, like religious context, is like this idea of like, we are born of life, we also consume life and death itself, and like there's like a very holy kind of importance put to waste in this DLC that I think is kind of interesting. Like it really ties well with the rot stuff from the base game. All right, hope you all.
This is the first zone I played after Illusory Wall's video about Dark Souls' hitboxes and like platforming and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And all I can think of is like, wow, look how far they've come at having sensical hitboxes.
Yeah,
for
oh,
the
totally,
environment.
totally. Yeah, not that there aren't a few kind
Look
of
how much you can
less
hop
up
around
spaces
these
in
little
Elden Ring,
things.
but yeah, no, it is much tighter in a game like this
Yeah.
compared to Dark Souls 1. Much tighter. Really, the big if you could fix like one thing related to like jumps getting fucked up, it's Torrent not recognizing solid ground.
Yes.
That's like that's the biggest like mechanical flaw of the game, maybe. That's caused by like you're riding down a sloped surface, you clearly landed on solid ground because you were able to jump off of it, but then you die when you land a few meters earlier, and it's like, oh, it's just because the game was tricked into like not understanding that he landed. So it thinks
Yeah,
you,
thinking
it
you
was
were
part of the bigger
sliding
fall.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like if they could just
There's a lot
fix
of really
that.
weird stuff with Torrent.
Yes.
Like you can awkwardly graze against
Nice.
something that allows you to jump again technically, but you can't actually successfully stop and stand on it, so you're just sliding and falling and kind of panic jumping.
Yeah.
And then it'll count that little ledge that you could not land on in the first place as being a safe spot, and then it'll put your souls there when you die. And you're like, no. No, it's literally irretrievable. Womp womp.
Okay.
They did a pretty good job with the whole I don't even know if the community has agreed on a specific name for it yet, but the ledge attack like protection or whatever, where standing on roofs or at cliffs, like you can just attack at the edge and you won't go.
Oh, you won't
walking
fall off. Yeah.
I definitely don't have that experience with spells that make you walk forward.
That's the
Spells,
thing.
yeah.
There has weaknesses and omissions where it's not completely consistent. So again, it's something that could use some refining, but like it is, something that killed players in older Souls games constantly, and they finally figured out like maybe we don't, for role playing purposes, like your character was smart enough to swing your sword at the edge of this cliff without walking
Killing
off of it, that's
themselves.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, like-
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just bizarrely suicidal protagonists in these games.
All right.
The platforming here works so well. There's like parts where I trick myself and think there's going to be like a really crazy platforming gauntlet with loot at the end, and then I get all the way up and there's nothing there because it's just where they happen to put a series of roofs. It's not actually a thing.
That's good. Means it taught you.
This is
Taught
one
you
of
to
the
be
weakest poison I've ever
cognizant.
seen.
It's not deadly poison.
Yeah, this is a very relaxed poison.
Yeah, it's just stinky.
Because
It's not like,
poison has different tick rates, and not just deadly poison. There's like internally different tick rates for just different methods of poisoning things, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, based on the source.
Yep.
I went up the ladder just to open the shortcut, but I'll join you guys back down there. There we go. Just in case anything goes horribly wrong, but no, it shouldn't. There's nothing tough out here. Just a bunch of the bug guys.
Whoa. supplies.
God, thank God for Caw and the AoE. Oh! Oh
Ow,
God,
all
it's
that
killing me.
damage.
Yeah.
I forgot about it damaging me, so it killed me, and now I gotta come down here again.
I forgot about the continuous damage of that attack as well.
Thank God for.
Sorry, what
I did
killed
open
you?
the. If you need to get your souls toaster, I did open the shortcut door, like that's right by the side of Grease to immediately come back down out this way or whatever.
Awesome, thank you. It's
What kills you?
The AoE of Blood Flame.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that did
Oh.
friendly fire.
Yes, it does.
It wasn't triggering for me. It
It
wasn't
might be that thing where we have sometimes friendly fire again.
right.
I don't know. Yeah, well, I was like getting hit, and I got hit by the poison of the bugs,
he
but
out.
then it seemed like it was just getting staggered by
Goodbye.
the like pulses of the Blood Flame. But I don't know.
Yeah.
This game just cannot be trusted.
I mean, we are
Yeah,
playing
it
a mod.
Shouldn't be doing that.
Oh, I just got 2 horned warrior swords. Fuck yeah, that's a fun dual wield build right there. That could be really sick. And there we go, the poisoned hand. This is a wacky weapon. I think there might be like application for it, but the thing is that you have to use the boxing moveset instead of the kung fu moveset. And the martial arts moveset
no.
is so much better than the boxing moveset.
You just have to awkwardly slap people.
Yep.
It's the hand of the proletariat.
So much death.
But yeah, it literally says gloves stitched together from the flayed skin of victims of the butcherous bloodbath, afflicts target with deadly poison, raises attack power when poisoning occurs in the vicinity, forged of an unyielding black impulse toward revenge fostered in those who have had everything burned or stolen from them. These are the weapons of the utterly downtrodden. You get punched with a poop hand.
Hell yeah.
And that's justice.
Fist of the backwind.
It's to the brown star.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.